Hi, my name is Gaynor Evans. Welcome to my blog, Sex and the Signposts. I write a blog about once a month, usually about a subject that's inspired me or something that's happened to me in my dating life. But for a change, I thought it might be quite a novel idea if I actually read out the blog, just to make it a little bit more interesting. So here I go, and if you're sitting comfortably, then I'll begin. This blog is entitled Desire, so that should get your interest. I thought as I got older that I might, just might, slow down a bit, that my libido would take second place to my need for a good book, the latest box set, and an early night. But no, still at the top of my to-do list is my desire for sexual adventures. This may be, of course, because I am not in a conventional relationship and do not therefore have sex on tap as I used to when I was married. And just to clarify, this is not an arrogant statement. I was to find in both my marriages that I was in charge of the sexual allowance. It may not be true of all long-term relationships, but for me it was. If I wanted sex, I instigated it. But most of the time, I acquiesced to the desires of my husband at the time. So as much as I love a box set and a good book, they do not fill me with the same mind-occupying preoccupation of a sexual encounter. Not that any sexual encounter will do. One thing I've learnt as an older woman is that the chemistry and desire must be both equally intoxicating. Otherwise, you are better off self-helping to relieve the tension with whatever method suits you best. There is nothing worse than a sexual experience that falls flat on its face. Your face, his face, anyone's face. A lackluster experience can make you wonder why you bothered in the first place. My continuing desire is probably fueled by my use of HRT and my particular brand. Whenever I am challenged to either stop or change to another more bio-identical one, this is the new watchword in HRT, I always ask innocently, and does it have the three components? Knowing full well the answer will be no. It's that third component, that tiny bit of testosterone, that gives me my edge. And I like it. So I always politely decline to change. So just in the middle of a dry spell, more due to my own choices than a lack of opportunity, I find myself in a WhatsApp exchange with an old acquaintance. Of the toy boy variety, of course. We had a lovely liaison some years ago that had been both intoxicating and emotionally connecting, and he had rated highly in my relationships of sorts. And I had dedicated a chapter to him in my book. We remained on good and affectionate terms and kept in loose contact. So as we engaged in an exchange of catch-up, I felt my desire to see him coming over me in waves. I sent him a recent picture, nothing indecent, you understand, and asked for one in return. The picture of him in a suit with his large blue eyes crinkled at the corners and his wide smile revealing even white teeth sent me into overdrive. I was virtually salivating. As the exchange continued, I recalled in Technicolor our first encounter in the front of my convertible, how we couldn't keep our hands off each other, how he looked naked with his toned and honed body wet from the shower while he toweled dry his blonde tousled hair. Sigh. The chemistry was reignited, and although we were miles apart, I could almost touch the electricity between us. I was so distracted I couldn't concentrate. I left the house without my keys. He said he was having to go for a run before he got in the car and headed in my direction. I said, "Run here, please." I spent the next few hours in such a state of heightened desire, it was impossible to do anything properly. I kept looking at the picture and then sending another text, willing him to come in my direction. In the end, self-help was the only option. But as is often the case, it doesn't squash the desire for that particular person. It's like wanting the taste of champagne and ending up with Prosecco. Your thirst may be quenched, but there is something piquant missing. He was still on my mind the next morning when I sent him a text asking if he had survived. His reply was that he had, but I was still on his mind. And there I left it. Hard as it was to put him down, I knew I must. I don't think his wife would appreciate our exchange. So it would seem that my libido and desire are still very much alive and kicking. And what I need to do is to find someone to fulfill my desires. It's a long time since I went hunting, but it seems like the cougar is going to be once again at large. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It makes a change to be able to read it, and I'm told that sometimes my readings can be quite amusing, so I hope you enjoyed it. Until the next time, bye. See you.